Hey guys, welcome back to the shop. So as most of you know by now, we recently moved. I think it's been 8 or 9 months ago. And one of the pitfalls of this house, although we love it, is we didn't have a lot of storage. So it seemed everything that didn't really have a home ended up in our master closet as someplace just to tuck it away. I'll show you a picture here somewhere of what that disaster currently looks like. So that's the next on our list, is to tackle that master walk-in closet. And the first thing we're gonna do is replace that rack down on the end with a new built-in. I'll put a picture of that up here. Again, thanks to Mel, he came through for me. I literally just came off the road this morning and got here and went and picked up the plywood and started in. So what I've got is I've got about 5 sheets of 3/4 inch plywood, and I have 2 sheets of 1/4 inch plywood. I don't have the drawer material or the drawer fronts or any of the other things that go with this. I need to just go ahead and get the casework done first. So since it's late in the day, I'm going to go ahead and use the cut list that Mel sent me and just get all this stuff broken down into rough sizes today. And then tomorrow morning I'll come back out here and get going and get it into the table saw and really size things up. And then we're gonna go forth with something new for me, and all this stuff is gonna get edge banded. That's something brand new for me, so it'll be a learning experience, but that's a good thing. So yeah, let me get the shop set up and we'll get going on rough breaking this material. So there's all the plywood cut up into the individual pieces. The verticals for both the center case and the 2 side cases are cut to final dimension. We still have to rabbet the ends of them to allow for the tops and the bottoms, but I don't want to do that until after we edge band those. Just easier to edge band while they're whole like that. So the other stuff has not been cut to final lengths yet, to account, so I can double check the measurements and make sure that we come up with the right measurements and account for those rabbets. If we don't, it just simply won't fit in the closet. So it's kind of a critical measurement. So edge banding will be up next, but unfortunately it's not here yet. So give me a day or two and I'll get the edge banding in and we'll go to work on that. Okay, well the veneer finally came in. So all I'm going to do is get these veneered up. I pre-cut this to close to length. I really like the grain match from this stuff. So we're just going to get this ironed on. And we'll get it trimmed off. And I like to just break the edge a little bit with a little bit of 400, just to soften it up a little. And just like that, it's all dialed in. Okay, so just like that, I got this side done. I still have the other side to do. I'm going to go ahead and do all of the shelf material and do everything that I can. So that's really going to take me the better part of today. So give me a little shop time and let me get all the veneer on this stuff. All right, so there's all the shelves all veneered up, ready to go. Next up, we're going to get the table saw set up and start cutting the dados to fit all those shelves. Okay, so the tops and the bottoms of each one of the verticals get a rabbet to hold the top and the bottom. So I've set up a sacrificial fence in here. I have my dado stack in. I've run a test piece to make sure it fits the plywood right. And all I'm going to do is cut the tops and the bottoms of all the verticals because it's all just one setup. So I've left my dado stack exactly the same height. The only thing I did was take my sacrificial fence off, got that out of the way, and then set up for this first dado. I'll do both sides with the same setup before I move. Okay, I've put my sacrificial fence back in. I've reset the dado stack so we can go ahead and get the grooves in the back of all of these to accept the back panel. And of course I ran a test piece, so that all looks good. And once we get these in, I think we can move to our first glue up. All right, so there's just the first dry fit. Just to have a good look at everything. I'm super happy with it. It's nice and square. And the seams came out nice. I'll give you a close-up of that here in just a second. But before we commit this to glue, the upper sections in here, and there's one in the big one as well, that are floating shelves. So we need to go ahead and pull this back apart and get our pins drilled for all the floating shelves that go in these cases. Let me give you a close-up of the joints. So again, that's with no touch-up sanding or finish or anything like that. So there's some little details here and there that'll be sanded out and fixed up before we go to finish, but we're still a long ways from that. So for now, let's get these pulled back apart and start looking at shelf pins. Okay, so in the dry fit, I figured out that my shelves in this, or my total width on this one, is going to be 7/8 of an inch too wide. So I can always come back and trim the shelves, so that's a good thing. But had I gone just straight to a glue up, then I would have missed that, and this would have never fit in the closet. So it's always a good idea to dry fit things, double check your measurements, and also come up with your clamping strategy. So I'll go ahead and trim these shelves down. When I pull this back apart, I'll do that off camera. You don't need to see that. But next up, we're going to go ahead and start getting our shelf pins in. So that's going to be next. Okay guys, so I was setting up to do the shelf pins. I've got the Woodpecker shelf pin guide. There's a ton of them out there. Frankly, I've never used this before. I've never made a project with shelf pins in it. As weird as that sounds, I just haven't. So I was getting set up and getting ready to go, and I realized that I did not have the right bushing collet for my router to use this template. So I've got one on order. As soon as it comes in, we'll go ahead and get these shelf pins in. I think we're going to call that a wrap for this video. And when we get going again, we'll go ahead and do the shelf pins. We'll get the glue ups done, and then we'll start going after drawers and things of that nature. So until next time, guys, take care.